What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome day today. Bitcoin above $11,000. What's going on? I thought we were supposed to be bearish. I thought all the futures traders were shorting. We talked about that in yesterday's video. We said they're all short on Bitcoin, but the question is it a little bit too bearish? And that was the big topic of yesterday's video. In fact, you can see the fear and greed index right now is sitting at about 43. Now, we know anytime you're sort of, below 50 and above 35, that's kind of the area where usually you want to get into a Bitcoin trade or buy some Bitcoin potentially, right? When others are being fearful, you should be greedy and vice versa. We talk about that a lot on the channel, but having a look right now, we do notice that Bitcoin is trying to break above the $11,100 level. Now, interestingly enough, if we come over here and have a look at the futures, we actually do see that they're breaking out of this ascending channel, and we're really in that no man's land where the next potential move could be to the $11,300 level. So big question on everyone's mind, is this a fake out? And also, what is going on with the altcoins? The altcoins are having a lot of difficulty keeping up with the Bitcoin price action today. I mean, even, Ethereum, for example, is only up 1%, Bitcoin pushing on 3%. So everyone is saying, what's going on? My altcoins are down. My bags are bleeding. Should I sell? Should I sell? Well, I'm going to talk about that today. I want to show you guys how the markets actually do move in cycles, right? You have the Bitcoin pump, Bitcoin chills out, altcoins pump right now, right? But the question is, will that be happening again anytime soon? So I want to talk about that today, and I also want to discuss the fact that we have also Bakkt futures breaking, absolutely smashing its record highs. So does this mean that we officially have that institutional interest back again? All of that in today's video. If that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you are not subscribed, definitely consider it. And without further ado, let's dive into the charts. Now, having a look right here, Bitcoin CME futures chart. As I said in the intro, we are sort of in that no man's land right here. You can see back here, we did in fact have a little bit of resistance, which did become support. And that is actually where Bitcoin is hanging out right now. Now, getting above the $11,320 level would be very bullish short term on futures for Bitcoin. And I did mention that we are in historically fearful levels, right? So like I said, you're below 50, you're above 35. That's usually the area where, you may want to consider starting to accumulate some more Bitcoin. Now, having a look over here, I do want to just point out that we have literally, actually, when I had this set up earlier, we weren't even on the line yet, but you can see right now that we are touching this trend line right now. Now, this is where Bitcoin had a lot of historical support. We tried to have a little support here, and we had the major dump. And currently, you can see right now, we are pushing on that level. So it is very critical to see what Bitcoin does by the end of today. If we do, in fact, break and hold above this level, we may be looking for a massive blast off move, at least minimally another $300 within the next few days. However, if we do get rejected, and that is a big if, okay, we could be putting in a giant double bottom where Bitcoin could be retesting back to the low 10,000. So just keep your eyes on that. I want to be realistic about this price. You guys know I'm a Bitcoin bull, obviously, but we are at some historic levels right now. We do need to keep our eyes on it. Now, there is a silver lining, okay? Willy Woo actually mentioned that his 128-day moving average has done a very decent job at signaling support resistance, and it is currently offering support. This usually provides an excellent opportunity to buy Bitcoin. Now, that level was a little bit closer around sort of the 10,000. Well, according to this, it's around the $10,100 level. So that's why I said we could potentially try to retest that level before having that blast off. Remember, markets don't move in straight lines. They do have ebbs and flows. They bounce up, they bounce down. Having a look right here, though, we are still looking very nice on the monthly chart. I mean, we literally came all the way down to 9,700, instantly got bought back up. Never closed the CME futures gap, but I am not talking about that today. I don't care about gaps today. If we have to, we'll talk about them. Today, we're not talking about gaps. The level I want to look to get above, though, is the 13,800, because that was where we closed out on the all-time high in 2017, and that is where we wicked to in June of 2019 when we put in that $13,000, almost $14,000 high, right? So you can see right now, we are still trying to push up, and if we do come back, I would hope that we would be supported by this trend right here. Now, let's talk about MicroStrategy. So we know that they came out and they bought some more Bitcoin, right? In fact, they said they bought another $175 million worth on top of the $250 million that they basically turned their cash reserve into Bitcoin. And would you believe it? On a day when stocks are acting silly, the price of MicroStrategy is actually up over 9% on the day. Zooming in right here, you can actually see that was quite a jump. Are people bullish on Bitcoin? Is that a reflection of the fact that they actually bought Bitcoin as some of their reserves? Well, here is something that we need to talk about. We have Bakkt. So remember, everybody was excited about Bakkt. It was physically settled Bitcoin futures, which is why it was really actually an exciting time, because it wasn't cash settled. It was Bitcoin settled. So you actually had to hold the underlying asset, being Bitcoin, in order to participate. Then they kind of tricked us and they offered cash settled. That, I don't want to get into that again, but basically on September 16th, Bakkt announced that more than 200 million worth of Bitcoin contracts had been traded in one single day. This actually broke their previous record by 36%. In fact, you can see in the chart right here by skew data, the record figure is roughly double the average daily volume posted pretty much through all of September. Where is this interest coming from? Is it coming from the institutions? Why are they buying Bakkt? A point of reference for Bakkt's contract is that they are obviously supposedly physically settled rather than cash. However, unfortunately, like I just said, some analysts have pointed out that most contracts traded on Bakkt are rolled over, with only the minority opting to receive Bitcoin when the contracts expire. So we do need to work on that, but I just wanted to point that out. But hey guys, Ethereum 2.0 is finally approaching. We had Danny Ryan, a core developer at Ethereum Foundation, officially submitted a proposal for moving the Ethereum blockchain to a proof-of-stake consensus mechanism. So once approved, they will have the rollout of Serenity Phase 0, or the beacon chain that will officially turn Ethereum into proof-of-stake. They're saying it's expected to come out later this year. Maybe it'll come out earlier next year. Let me know what you think. Do you think that they'll actually meet the deadline this time, or do you think that something will come out and it'll get pushed back? Now, as you guys know, I am bullish on Ethereum. I have looked into some of these other potential protocols, like Elrond, Polkadot, things of that nature, just to kind of hedge your bets in case Ethereum can't get their act together, right? But nevertheless, today, we have lots of the altcoins in the red, especially if you compare it to the Bitcoin comparative, right? If you move it to the Bitcoin, it's even worse looking, right? So what is going on with these altcoins? Well, does it have anything to do with the fact that yield farming is extremely risky, and we've seen these rug pulls and all of this dangerous, pretty much, yield farming has made a lot of people a lot of money, but we've also seen some of these tokens come out, literally, YAM crashing 90%, right? We had a few other tokens recently that, they found some bugs in the contracts, whatever, and that caused some FUD. They crashed, right? Does that have anything to do with it? Well, I wanted to say what Joseph Todaro said super quick. He said yield farming didn't create some novel Ponzi schemes. It's the same as 2013 and 2014. We simply replaced early miners dumping, right? Bitcoin miners mining Bitcoin and dumping their Bitcoin, with early liquidity providers also dumping. So let's be honest. Basically, we had Bitcoin mining. Even today, Bitcoin miners, they pretty much dump their Bitcoin on the markets. We see that happen all the time. And the same thing looks like it's kind of happening with yield farming, right? These guys get in early, they mine everything up, and then they dump it. Does that make it a scam, a Ponzi? I don't know, guys. It's kind of just similar to basically what happened with Bitcoin, right? The unsustainability isn't novel either. That's what happens with valuations of hundreds of millions of dollars at launch. And, moving forward, having a look right here, what we are essentially seeing, and this is the Bitcoin dominance, does it have anything to do with DeFi? Does it have anything to do with, these potential exit scams, bugs, difficulties, problems that have been, in the DeFi space? No, guys, I think this is just another phase in crypto. We're going to have these bumps. We're going to have, the flavor of the week. It's going to come. It's going to go. We've seen lots of different fads in cryptos over the time. Is DeFi here to stay? Yes. In its current form, not 100% too sure. I think we're going to weed out a lot of the BS, and then we're going to eventually sort of see that legit DeFi stick around, right? And I do think altcoins will do quite well. Why are altcoins struggling right now? Well, you could see that Bitcoin right now has hit an extreme bottom in its Bitcoin dominance, getting lower than 59%. In fact, it bottomed out here at about 58.81%. And having a look back here, you notice that we are at the bottom of a critical level where that became the resistance, right? From basically when we had crazy alt seasons before, and Bitcoin is fighting back to bounce to those levels again. So you could could potentially even see Bitcoin dominance come back up to around 66% before really seeing an entire alt season happen again. So basically you would look for Bitcoin, essentially to come up to the top of this level, maybe something like this, and then pull back again, right? So does this mean that altcoins are doomed and they've absolutely failed? No, it doesn't mean that, guys. In fact, we could have altcoins next week have a move, right? But it all depends on the market cycles. And if you have a look at the percentage of total market cap over on, this is over on CoinMarketCap. You can really pull it up anywhere you want. This really gives a nice demonstration of Bitcoin dominance falling, altcoin dominance pumping. And there is a very inverse effect between when Bitcoin pumps and when altcoin pumps. And also keep in mind that as these markets are maturing, we are seeing Bitcoin, for example, Bitcoin used to move and altcoins used to move with Bitcoin. We are seeing a bit of a decoupling because now we have things like Uniswap. We have a lot of altcoins pegged to stable coins, a lot of altcoins pegged to Ethereum even. Mostly stable coins, to be honest with you, which we really didn't have back in the early days of trading. So when Bitcoin would move, it would absolutely either annihilate altcoins on the way down or pump them up on their dollar value on the way up. Now we're seeing a little bit more of an inverse relationship, a little bit more of a decoupling. Not inverse. We were seeing more of an inverse. Now we're seeing more of a decoupling. But I do believe moving forward that altcoins will have their opportunities. But you really want to keep your eyes on things that are actually going to have long-term sustainability, right? A lot of this yield farming stuff, the tokens get mined right away. Somebody farms, you name your vegetable, whatever vegetable you happen to be farming at this point, and, it sort of caps out. And then what do you do once we're done? We have all the we have all the amount of tokens farmed. It kind of loses its luster at that point, right? But for example, some of the projects that I'm looking at, and you guys know I'm still heavily looking at Polkadot for sure. So we have Polymech, right? They're a token issuance and transfer framework that's coming for Polkadot. It's being launched by the team behind blockchain identity protocol Kilt. Now, I spoke about Kilt, I think a few days ago in the video, and I explained why I'm really excited about what these guys are doing. So we have Ethereum basically having the ERC20 token standard, which is pretty much what most ERCs are right now, not including non-fungibles. Non-fungibles, we have ERC 722, I think 1155. It's been a while, guys, but you know where I'm going with this, right? So basically, the reason for creating a community-owned tokenization system native to Polkadot are manifold, not to the least of which are the surging gas costs associated with transactions on the Ethereum blockchain. So now we're going to have that standard coming to Polkadot. You see a lot of projects sort of raising money in sales, for Polkadot. They come out with ERC20 tokens, and then they swap them over to the Polkadot ecosystem. Well, now you're going to see Polkadot projects coming out literally with their own standard, with their own ecosystem now. And I do think that this could potentially be the beginning for a lot of these other projects. So that's why I said just sort of focusing on, projects that potentially have longevity in the space. Not saying that Ethereum is dead or it's going to die. I'm bullish on Ethereum, but I want to keep my options open for other projects as well, right? So right now, what is really the key thing that, I'm looking to do specifically? Well, take advantage of these opportunities where Bitcoin is pumping. You're going to have altcoins on sale right now. Lots of altcoins that came out that actually have good fundamentals, good teams, good tech. They were dumping, right? Because altcoins get hit harder when Bitcoin dumps, essentially. So not financial advice, but if there are any altcoins out there that you believe in, that you're looking at, that you really think has longevity in this space, then honestly, these dips are opportunities to accumulate. Now, you don't have to go all in, right? If a coin falls 20%, you can put in a little bit. If it falls a little more, you could put a little bit more. That way you could dollar cost average. Somebody actually laughed at me, made fun of me on my video the other day, saying, you're basically dollar cost averaging on the way down is the same as dollar cost averaging on the way up. Okay, not literally if the token never comes back up, but like if there's a dip versus a pump, okay? Say the token goes from, $5 to $3 to $2 to $1, and then, next year it goes back up again and now we're at $10. Well, it doesn't really matter if you bought on the way down or you bought on the way up. Ultimately, if the token is higher than your initial first buy-in price, doesn't really matter how you accumulated. But people do not like to buy things when they're falling in price. They only like to buy things when they're going up in price. I guess that's just human nature, right? So lots of projects we've talked about on this space, on this channel. In fact, another project that we mentioned was Alliance Block. Now they just recently came out. They actually had some, like FUD associated with it. Had a lot to do with, the price like spiking, but they did kind of come out at a bad time, to be completely honest with you. It was sort of right around when the markets weren't really performing that well. But, comparing things like Alliance Block, for example, to things like farming vegetables, I mean, you got to kind of weigh the difference here, guys. So these guys are actually looking to make a bridge between traditional assets and digital capital markets. So they're really looking to create that bridge, right? Actually, you can see right here, they're building a decentralized blockchain agnostic layer 2 protocol. Now, keep in mind, a blockchain agnostic layer 2 protocol. So this currently right now, yes, it's an ERC20 token, but this could potentially be something that could allow all blockchains to not only communicate with each other, but also process digital assets or crypto products into bankable securities with internationally recognized the ISIN numbers, individual security identification numbers. So this is something helping to bridge the real world to crypto. Now, why is Chainlink so important to the crypto space? It's because they are an oracle, right? They get the real data and they push it into the smart contracts, into the crypto space. And now you're talking about these digital assets and other things of that nature having their own ISIN numbers, basically being, helping to bridge that gap between the real world and the digital world. Now, there was somebody saying something about liquidity. Now, they do have very low liquidity, I will say that. And actually, I think if we scroll down here, you can see they basically are releasing them extremely slow. So that's why there's not a lot of tokens right now, which is good. I guess you don't really want to overflood the market essentially. But they did have their code audited by Certic, and you can see that their code base, this is what Certic had to say, by the way. And these guys are like very well acclaimed, I guess you could say. Like, Certic is legit. They do contract audits. That was the problem with YAM, is there was a problem with the contract. It wasn't audited and there was a bug, right? They say Alliance Block's code base displays a high degree of technical expertise and engineering discipline. A series of assessments focused on identifying code patterns commonly associated with smart contract vulnerabilities were carried out during the audit, and we're happy to conclude that Alliance Block's smart contract does abide by high security standards. Now, they've also partnered with a project that I consider very legit and I'm extremely interested in, which is Orion Protocol. Now, Orion Protocol, yes, okay, they've taken, first of all, when we first mentioned them on the channel, they were like, I think like $1. They got up to like $7. Currently, yes, there has been a pullback, but getting back to my original point, guys, you need to be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy, right? But having a look right here, they're going to be utilizing Orion as that basically, data aggregator between a liquidity aggregator between all the different products, between all of the different cryptocurrencies that are on decentralized exchanges and centralized exchanges. And then with Alliance Block actually bringing that out to the real world with the ISIN numbers, you can kind of see how this all comes together. And like I said, since it's blockchain agnostic, yes, it could eventually be on, Polkadot as well. That's the whole basically concept behind it. And also, one other thing I wanted to point up is that they did partner with Top One Tech Corp, which is a financial technology company endorsed by central banks of Philippines to incorporate an e-money provider. So this is pretty big news. You have the TTC mobile application. Top Wallet functions as a payment solution, digital asset wallet, and a partner gateway to the TTC ecosystem. And yeah, on a day where they're literally down 36% at a $2 million market cap, not financial advice, guys, but I just would say at 2 million, probably undervalued. Don't go buy this token because I talked about it on the channel. Big mistake people make is listening to crazy guys on the internet and doing whatever they say. I just simply let you guys know what I'm looking at and how I feel about current situation. And right now, the fact that we do have Bitcoin, pumping up to these levels, we are seeing sort of that inverse relationship. Where is it? Over here on the altcoins to Bitcoin, right now, Bitcoin's just having its time to shine. But like I said, if you are looking for that opportunity to accumulate the altcoins, then now might be the time, but don't be disappointed if your altcoin doesn't moon tomorrow. This is the accumulation phase. Once we're in the crazy bull run, that's it. The tokens take off, right? So just kind of letting you know that's where I stand on my opinion. Once again, just sort of getting back to what I said the other day, where the market does move in these different ebbs and flows, and we had our alt season, right? Now Bitcoin is, having its opportunity to try to break out again. We may have some more potential sideways movement, and once Bitcoin cools off, right, takes a chill pill, starts to go sideways, then you will notice the altcoins having their opportunity to come out to play again, right? So if you're new to crypto, you'll get used to it. If you've been around, you probably already knew all of this, all right? And you probably turned off the video 5 minutes ago because you're like, I already know this. Well, just wanted to just let everybody know that that's sort of how the markets work. So, we do try our best to, look at altcoins that do have high potential. Obviously, the lower they are, market cap, they do have some high risk. Yield farming, very risky. Obviously, buying a yield farming token, even more risky. Holding Bitcoin, very safe. Lots of people say it's boring. There's not enough gains in Bitcoin, right? So that's why sometimes you do have to play these speculative assets, but unfortunately, you have to weigh out that risk versus reward ratio. So a little bit of a rant at the end, but hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. If you are not subscribed, I definitely appreciate it. You guys rock. You're the reason that I do this for the most part every single day. I love you. You're awesome. Get subscribed if you haven't. Drop a comment for a chance to win a Ledger Nano S. We give it away every Monday. Also, I have a free Telegram group below if you're interested. If you want to join, come hang out, say hello. I think that about covers it. So thank you again. You guys rock. My name's K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.